Record this. All right, everybody. It is March 14th, 2017. And we literally have been flying through this year. Every week we've had leadership training. You guys have been on here, and I'm super stoked that you guys are here to become better leaders. I know some of you guys are leaders. Actually, you all are leaders because you're on this call. You took the decision to be on this call. You made the decision, and that's what a leader does. They make the decision and they follow through. All right, just like our guest speaker, Angel. Now he and I have this bonding because he's a ex-Navy veteran. All right, he is a dad of two kids. Um, he's also a former. All right, ladies. All right, listen up. Former professional salsa dancer, all right, and had three dance studios. So he was the owner of three dance studios and turned life business performer. He's a speaker, he's a trainer. Him and his wife are huge entrepreneurs. And he, from being an entrepreneur, he is the founder of Inspire to Win. It's a multifaceted company that thrives in helping others achieve their greatness in life, in their business, and in their faith. Angel understands how to cast vision, culture, relationships, and focuses on helping others emerging entrepreneurs 10 times their message, their brand, and influence for maximum impact. I have literally seen Angel on stage with the greats like Les Brown, Sharon Lechter, Greg Reed, which is amazing. He's also, let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, he's working with Greg Reed, Darren Hardy, and all these other great people who are amazing authors and speakers. He is a best-selling author. Sorry if it gets a little loud. I'm in the hotel lobby after a conference, and I wanted to make sure we had this event for you guys. So I want you guys to get ready. His energy is contagious, and his content is potent. So I hope you guys got your pens and papers ready because your life will not be the same. All right, I want you guys to all do a little silent golf clap because you're all on mute. Let's all welcome Angel to the stage. All right, Angel, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic. Can everybody hear me? If you can you give a thumbs up? Love it. All right. Yeah, I'm great, man. Thank you so much, Kent, for having me on this call. I really appreciate it. I'm excited. I just got back from my son's. My son had a presentation at school today talking about the ecosystem, so I was able to get educated by him a little bit. A lot of stuff that I didn't know about that, and now I'm back here ready to make it happen. And then I have another call at 8 o'clock, man. So I'm ready to just offer some value and hopefully enrich everybody's lives in some way, shape, or form. I'm ready.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Now, I know we just did a big event with some of the top leaders and speakers out there. I actually see the sign behind you, the Secret Knock.
Yeah, look at that. There he goes.
Whoop, whoop, which is it's a small community of like-minded people. I mean, it's high-end people that show up, like Sharon Lechter and Greg Reed's, Les Brown's, and the list goes on. And you actually were on stage as a speaker. Unfortunately, I had to step out of the room half of your message. So I'm hoping that you'd be willing to share some of your message there, and then just really, how do you go from being a professional salsa dancer to a life coach?
Well, how do I go from being in the Navy to a salsa dancer is the question, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right? I was like, what the hell am I going to do with my – so let me give you the backstory really quick. So I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I grew up in an urban sort of inner city neighborhood. And my senior year of high school, I had to decide how to get out of Chicago because the gang violence was really, really bad out there. A lot of my friends passed away. My mom and my grandmother kept me pretty protected, which was awesome. I never really got into the whole gang life, but it was so permeant around you that you couldn't avoid it. And once I hit like freshman, sophomore, senior in high school, all that stuff, it just got out of control. So I joined the Navy to get out of there without my mom's knowing. I just walked into a recruiter's office one day. I walked in with my best friend at the time. And get this, he was valedictorian of our high school. I don't know how the hell he was valedictorian and got straight A's because we hung out and did everything together. It was beyond me how he was a straight A student and I was like a C average student. Anyhow, lo and behold, he walks into the Navy recruiting station with me and follows me and joins the Navy with me. So anyhow, that's what brought me to San Diego. And I was here for a while, but I walked into a dance studio because I wanted to learn how to dance salsa because that's where I'm from. That's my heritage. I'm Puerto Rican and Mexican, but I grew up in a Puerto Rican neighborhood. So I couldn't dance. So I wanted to dance. So when I went to my first private lesson, right, I met my wife, who I've been with for about 18 years now. We have 2 kids.
Was she the instructor?
Huh?
Was she the instructor?
She was the instructor. Yeah, she fraternized with me. Hey, everybody, I had to get free dance lessons somehow. It was expensive and I didn't have the money. So, yeah, woo, give me some. That's it. You got to do what you got to do to get what you want. So we started dating 3 months later. I did a deployment. And when I got back, she was like, you got to get out of the Navy. I was on my way to officer school. That's what I wanted to do. So anyhow, I got out of the Navy and I was like, what am I going to do? And she says, well, be a salsa teacher. And I'm like, what? So anyhow, that's how it started. I became the mentee. She was my mentor. She taught me how to teach, how to dance. We opened up 3 dance studios in our 16-year career. We traveled all around the world, teaching, performing. We even hosted for 11 years. I just sold that about maybe 2 months ago to my partner, and he took it over. So I'm completely out of the dance business. But we did an event, attracted about 2,500 people every single year, Labor Day weekend, and it was a fantastic time. It was a great time. I have 2 kids, a 5-year-old girl, and my boy's going to be 9 on Saturday. So, they keep me busy. And if you have kids, you know how that goes. Let's see. We homeschool our kids for a long time. Now he's in a charter school because that's what he wanted to do. We said, no problem. But we were full-time parents. We did everything with our kids. We built our businesses with our kids, all that good stuff. And that was pretty much it. So from the dance business, I got into what most of you may know as a network marketing company. So back in maybe 2014, one of my mentors started a company, and I was looking for about 3 years to do something that would supplement my income because I didn't have the time or the resources to start something from scratch when I had 3 dance studios, 21 employees, and 2 kids. I needed something turnkey. So I finally found one that I still do to this day that financially freed us. But back then in 2011, I got into personal development. That led to, so many great opportunities, and I met a lot of amazing people. And from there, I started to coach people in my company, in my dance studio. I just started to teach. I started inspiretowin.com as a place for me just to vent what I was learning. Because back in, I think from 2009 to 2012 was one of the worst financial times that we've ever been through so far in my life. It was rough. I know what it feels like to have water shut off, electricity shut off, bill collectors calling you, car repossessions, eviction notices, you name it. I was there with my wife. It hurt our relationship, so that was also something that I went through. And it's just been a great life, but it's been a lot of getting through the dark times, going through the desert, and coming out victorious. And now, today, through all that, I still have my other company that I do that's very prosperous for us and amazing. I lead a huge group of people. And then I also have my Inspire to Win company, which is my coaching business. And I specialize in helping emerging entrepreneurs. I love working with people that are coachable and moldable and that want to get their vision, their brand, and their message out to the world. So I help people do that. And I do live events as well. So I do live events. Most of my live events that are going to be starting are going to begin next month. And they're going to have a lot of entrepreneurial focus, inspiration, and they're going to be mixed with my faith. I believe in Jesus. I'm a Christian. And that's the foundation of what I do and what I'm about. And I'm going to be bringing that along with everything else that I've learned into the marketplace for entrepreneurs. So that's going to be my niche focus here in the next couple of months. So that's me in a nutshell.
Wow. Such a big box to fill.
Well,
No, and that's awesome. I mean, I love the story about how you met your wife and being in the Navy. Obviously, going towards officer candidate school is a big status, but to be pulled away from that and then just start doing the dancing and having the studios, it takes an entrepreneurial spirit to create that business and to lead those because you had a lot of employees. And then of course, some people here are, do you still dance? So
I don't dance anymore. I still dance for fun every once in a while. I still have a lot of friends and professional dancers that are still in that arena. So I still have connections with them, but I don't dance anymore. I completely left that. I sold my dance studios, or my wife and I, we sold them in 2014, 2015. And then just recently, about, like I said, a month ago, I let go of it was called the San Diego Salsa Bachata Festival. And that was an event that I did for 11 years. And we attracted about 2,500 people over a 4-day weekend. And we just partied from 9 a.m. to 4 a.m. every single day for 4 nights and 4 days.
well, half the crowd would like that already. I can see them going, yeah, I'll be there, because most of them already go to Mardi Gras.
It was a lot of fun, but very draining. A lot of fun, but very draining. And point is, I had to recreate myself 3 times so far. So from the Navy to a salsa instructor, dancer, all that. And then I had to recreate myself again from getting out of that industry and doing what I do now, which is what I'm passionate about.
Oh my goodness. Like, you are literally, I do a Facebook Live every day, and today's talk will be about the best version of yourself. And I got all my notes to talk about it later, but it talks about, you are not the best you yet. And you like you're saying, you had to create yourself 3 times. And by doing that, you've had some huge life lessons. And if you could share with this group, these are emerging leaders. These are leaders in their industry and in their community, with their families and things like that. If you could give them just some nuggets of information, about falling down and getting back up, or, recreating yourself, what would you share with them that they could use in their personal life and their businesses to be stronger or better leaders out there?
All right. The number one thing that I would say is, and this is in general, it's a quote by Vivian Green. I don't know if you guys ever heard this before, but she said, life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain, right? So I live by that. And there's many other quotes that talk about that. There's obviously a scripture in the Bible that says, "Oh, lo, though I walk through the shadow of the valley of death, I will fear no evil." And I truly believe that in order to become successful, to be a leader, you have to learn how to go through the hard times, embrace the hard times, embrace the struggle, because that's where you're formed. That's where every single person, in my humble opinion, gets formed, fashioned, and you get to see what you're made of. But most people avoid pain. They want to avoid the struggle, and they do whatever they can to not go through that process. But that process is where you are formed. That process is where you learn the most. And if you agree with me, raise your hand. How many of us really learn anything when things are comfortable? We don't, right? When things are comfortable, that's when we tend to take our foot off the pedal. That's when we just sit back, relax, and chill. But when shit hits the fan, excuse my French, you're either going to run or you're going to lay down and let it go over you. Or lay down or run, or you're going to just face it, you're going to push through it, and you're going to get through it. And you're going to have a testimony after the test. So I always tell people, if you want to have a testimony, you got to pass the test. And there's going to be many tests that you're going to have in life, coupled with the 1,000 of tests that you're going to have by deciding to become an entrepreneur. So one of the things that I always tell people is embrace the struggle. Embrace it, encounter it, love it, and get through it. Because if you don't get through that, you're never going to become a leader, and you're never going to become a successful entrepreneur.
Awesome, awesome. And now you have Inspired to Win, and you work with a lot of entrepreneurs. Can you share about Inspired to Win? Share some concepts of your business, how you help people, what you do, how you work with them, and things like that, and
Absolutely.
what people can get out of it.
Yeah. So Inspire to Win, everybody was formed out of. It wasn't even something that I thought of doing. It just happened. And I think that's the beautiful part of going through a struggle or going through the pain of the process of going through what you're going through is things begin to be born out of the struggle. And for me, Inspire to Win, that just came. I was literally praying one day and that word and that whole thing just came out. And the first thing that I thought is, there's no way that domain name's available. Somebody must have it. I didn't even check for 2 days. I didn't go with that inclination that gave to me, go check, go buy it. I was like, can't check it. Somebody already got it. I already had this negative mindset of not even trying to attempt to see if something was available because I had this thing of I didn't want to get let down. I didn't want to let my hopes get dropped on, you know what I mean? So I was like, don't look. So one day I just said, let me go look. I went to go look and it was available. I was like, holy moly, it's nobody has it. So I bought it. Now that I bought it, I'm like, what the hell do I do with it? I didn't know anything about websites. I didn't know anything about nothing when it came to doing that kind of stuff. So I went on YouTube and YouTube became my university. I just devoured. I was up till 4 a.m. almost every single night, just learning and learning and learning. And then I thought to myself, okay, this sucks. I need to go find people that already do what I'm doing. So I went and I met some people that were interns in college. I just went and I started asking people for help. And I found this one guy named Peter and this other guy named Alex. I feel like God put them into my life because what I learned through the process they were going through. So I was able to coach them and help them. And then they were able to reciprocate it by teaching me a lot of skill sets that I didn't have and that would have taken me forever learning on YouTube. So I did a blog and I started writing because I remember reading in a book, I forgot what it was, but it says you become a better leader, but more importantly, you're going to grasp what you're learning more by teaching it to people. And it doesn't matter who you're teaching it to, just get it out of you. As you learn, get it out. As you learn, get it out. So I was like, all right, write a blog. So I started writing a blog. And then from doing the blog, I said, oh my God, I've learned about podcasts. So then I started a podcast. And out of the podcast, this is what happened. I just started teaching principles that I was learning while going through my, what I call shitville, right? That was the town that I lived in for a very long time. So, and my wife coined that word. But anyhow, we were going through a really hard time. So I said, you know what? I got to do a podcast. Let me just talk. So if you look at our first podcast, it's my wife and I on there. And then, she's not really too much into podcasts and techie stuff. So then I just continued pushing through with the podcast. And I did about 56 episodes. And I'm actually going to start it back up next week for season 2. That should have started a month ago. But anyhow, I'll tell you about why that didn't happen later. But through the podcasting, I got my first client through a podcast. And then I got my second client because somebody heard my podcast, wanted me to be interviewed on their podcast. That led to my second client. I didn't know what the hell to charge anybody. I've never coached anybody that paid me. And that's how it started. So my website and my blogging started because I was going through a hard time. It wasn't premeditated. And then my first client came from a podcast. I wasn't even looking to gain clients. It just happened. And then from my second client that I got who lives in Florida, they live in Jacksonville, Florida, I learned about referral systems. So I started to put together a referral thing with them. They referred me like 7 people. Then that turned into more clients. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm coaching people. And it just snowball effect from there. And then from there, I started just speaking more. And I already had some experience speaking because I was a dance instructor, right? So all of the things that I feel I was learning the last, 15 years of being a dance instructor sort of set me up for what I'm doing now. So I started to teach, I started to speak more. And then I, one day, and this is what I shared at Secret Knock, because have you guys ever heard of Secret Knock? Nobody? No? So it's an event put on by a gentleman named Greg Reed. Have you guys ever read this book right here called 3 Feet from Gold? Yeah. So the author of this book was Sharon Lecter and Greg Reed. So yeah, it's an amazing book. If you guys can pick this book up, do so. But this was a book written by Greg Reed. So one day I saw that Greg was speaking at an event. And I said, oh, what the hell? I have his book. I'm going to go meet him. I didn't know who he was, really what he did, what event he did. So he was speaking, and what he spoke about really resonated with the struggle that I was going through. And this was about 4 or 5 years ago. And afterwards, I went up to Greg and I said, hey, Greg, can you sign my book? I was like a fanboy, right? Sign my book, please, right here. So he signed it, did the whole thing. And then I remember him saying this one thing. He said, you got to draw a line in the sand, step over it, and say, it's my turn. My turn to do A, B, C, and D, and stop being the person that everybody goes to for everything and start taking care of yourself. So I said, that's going to be me. Step that line, make it happen. So I said, Greg, sign my book. And then I told myself, I want him to mentor me. I want to be mentored by him. And I was like, how's that going to happen? I don't have money in my bank account. I don't have anything going for myself. I can't even afford to pay for this, right? Whatever. That was going on in my head. So I asked him, I said, Greg, how can I get you to mentor me? And he's very short, very quick. He's in and out type of a guy. So he really pretty much just said, right now, I don't have the time. I'm going through I'm doing a lot of, shaking and baking right now, whatever. But, maybe one day in the future, you see me at an event and things will change. I'm sorry. And then he walked away, but he was very polite about it. And I walked out to my car, everybody. And I was about to get into my car. And I remember before this event, my wife telling me, you're really going to another event? How many events do you got to go to get your shit together? How many events? This is exactly what she said. And she's English. She's British. She's from London. So if you know anybody that's European or from London, they're very straightforward and they're going to let you know how it is. So that's what she said to me. I was like, oh man. I said, no, this is different. I'm going there with purpose. I'm going to go meet Greg and this is going to happen. So when I got my little balloon deflated and I was walking to my car, I said to myself, man, I got to go home and tell my wife that this was another fanboy tour of myself. I didn't get really nothing out of it. I just went and wasted time again at another meeting. And I told myself, hell no, this is it. I got to draw that line in the sand and I got to figure out a way to make this happen. So then I went back in there and I said, Greg, he was speaking about an event that he was doing. I said, Greg, hey, sorry to bother you again, but listen, I have a network of influence and I want to be able to be by your side. And I want to offer my services to you at no cost. Let me sell tickets for you for no compensation whatsoever. And you can maybe mentor and coach me how you see fit. I will come and work for you, do whatever it can, put sales, blah, 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 blah. And he looked at me and he was surprised and he said, serious? And he stopped, thought, and he said, you have 24 hours to sell 10 tickets for me. If you sell 10 tickets for me in 24 hours and bring it to my office, I'll mentor you and coach you. And then he walked away. And I said, what? And I said, Greg, I don't have your number. I don't know where your office is at. And he said, gave me an email. And at the time, it was Katrina. I'm sure you know who Katrina is, Kent. So I contacted her. She sent me his information. The next day, I went with 11 tickets sold, threw it on his desk. And then 4 years later, I'm still friends with him. I basically served my way to success. I went there and I learned and I learned and I gave and I contributed. And then one day he told me, never build another man's stuff. I love you. I love what you're doing here, but you are great. You need to go do your own thing. And he kicked me out of his office after 3 years. And I said, I'm on it. I'm gone. About 6 months ago, I got an opportunity to work with Darren Hardy. You guys know who Darren Hardy is? So I was working pretty close with Darren Hardy and I applied for a position in his company. I went all the way. I probably went through 4 or 5 interviews and I finally got to be with Darren. And Darren's like, I love what you're doing. But it seems that you have your own stuff going on. You have your own, he called it what did he call it? I forgot. He said, you have your own empire that you're building. You need to go and do that. So again, I caught myself trying to be around people to help validate what I was supposed to be doing. And yet another man told me, nope, you need to build your stuff. From that day forward, I was like, boom, I'm done. I'm making big things happen now. I don't need anybody else to tell me what I'm supposed to be doing is going to be great. I've been around successful people and they're just human beings like all of us on this call. The only thing that separates us from them is that they went into massive action and actually believed that they could do something to bring impact into the world. And that's where I'm at now. So at the end of the day, it's me here working. I'm bringing on a full-time employee with me that's starting at the end of the month. I'm excited about that. And now we're going to be doing our own live events, reigniting the podcast. I have a lot of coaching clients. I'm going to continue to do that because I love to add value to people. And that's pretty much me in a nutshell. And that's what I do. And that's what I've done. And I always tell people there's a 6-step process that I follow. And I'll share that with you guys before I leave. You can write it down. But for the most part that I've learned from people in leadership is, for whatever reason, and everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different past and different experiences. But for the most part, we try to look for validation. We try to look for permission for somebody else that's successful to tell us what we're supposed to be doing, and or if what we're supposed to be doing is something that's going to bring value to the marketplace. And at the end of the day, nobody's going to tell you that. You got to believe in what you're doing and go for it full force. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm pretty excited. So I hope that sort of gives a big overview of what that question was.
No, I thought that was great, and you have a lot of nutshells around you doing all this stuff, um, and I've seen the growth over the time I've known you, which is awesome. But yeah, I would love for you to dive into the 6 steps with this group, because these guys love nuggets of information. I know you have an ebook on breaking through fear.
Yeah, I'll tell you how to get that for sure later on.
Yeah, so we'll do that at the end. But yeah, definitely give them the 6 nuggets of information, the 6 steps.
All right, you ready to write it down? Because this is important. I think it'll really, really help you out.
If you're ready, give them 2 thumbs up. Let them know so you can see them all. There you go. Look at
all
that.
Right.
All right, sweet.
Woohoo! All right. So the first word that I want you to write down is passion. Okay. The second word I want you to write down is pain. And then the third word I want you to write down is purpose. Number 4, dream. Number 5, struggle. And then number 6, victory. All right. So we have what? We have the first one's our passion. The second one, we have pain. The third one, we have what? What was the third one? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought everybody could talk. So I feel like I'm on stage. The third one's purpose. Okay. And then number 4 is, of course, dream, struggle, and victory. So we have all that down. My bad, everybody. Okay. So the first one, passion. I truly believe that all of us have passion to do something. And that passion isn't just a feeling. It's like it's a desire. It's what the Think and Grow Rich talks about. Anybody here ever read Think and Grow Rich? Okay, if you haven't read that book, or if you have read the book and you just skim through it, I always tell every single person that I work with, the client, they have to read Think and Grow Rich. I will not continue working with somebody until they read that book, or if they're not reading it, because I base a lot of what I do on that book. And I'm not saying it's an end all be all, but it's a powerful book that can really, really elevate your mind and your circumstances. But there's something that talks about the desire of a man or a woman, whatever the case may be. And I believe that's also linked to passion. And when we have that passion to do something, it's a love, right? We have a love for something. We would do it if we never got paid for it. But in order to pursue that passion, we're going to have to go through the pain of bringing that passion to life, right? It's almost like our kids, right? If you had kids, now, of course, I'm not a female, as you can tell. But when my wife gave birth to my son and my daughter, she went through 9 months of pure agony, pain, and torture because she was in hyperemesis the whole time. She was constantly vomiting. We had to admit her to the hospital. I mean, it was a horrible time for her. Then afterwards, she gained weight. She went through another process of that. And then obviously the birth process. But after it was all done, we had an amazing baby boy and an amazing baby girl that completely transformed our life. And if it wasn't for that pain process that she was willing to go through to bring forth that life, we would have never been able to experience that joy of having something amazing in our life, right? So after you have that passion, you got to understand that you're going to go through pain. and you have to endure the pain of whatever that is. Now, the pain is physical and mental pain that you're going to go through. You're going to be tired. You're going to get headaches. You're going to not feel like doing something. It's going to be physically draining on you to bring your passion to life. And for the most part, everybody, most people will not go through that pain to bring their passion to life because it's too difficult. So what most people end up doing is borrowing somebody else's passion and making it theirs. This is why seminars are so successful, because everybody's trying to look for that one little thing that can help them get to what they want to do quicker and faster. But they fail to realize that you're never going to achieve that if you never go through the pain of what you're trying to get through. Once you get through the pain, and there's more steps to that, obviously, just giving you the overview, but once you're able to take your passion, endure the pain process, you're going to eventually find your purpose. And if you can get to a point where you find your purpose, what you were put on earth to do, and I truly believe with all my heart that every single person has a purpose. Every single person has something to offer to this world to leave impact. Once you find that, there is not going to be any stopping you from doing what you were called to do, to doing what you want to do. And when you're finally able to find that purpose-driven life that Rick Warren talks about, if you are familiar with that book, you are not going to have to go and become a seminar junkie. You're not going to be going to conferences to ask somebody for their nuggets of wisdom. You're going to go about massive action, doing what you've been called to do. And at that point, you're going to be able to seek a mentor, right? And a mentor is somebody that you're not going to go to and ask them what you should be doing. A mentor is somebody that you're going to go to and say, this is what I want to do. How do I get there? During the pain process is when you probably want to seek a coach, because a coach is going to navigate you. They're going to give you the skill sets. They're going to be able to tell you what to do, what not to do to get through that pain process. You find your purpose. And then what happens, everybody, is you're going to start to dream dreams that were meant for you. And when I say dreams, I'm not talking about things when you go to bed at night and you dream and you wake up and it's la la land. I'm talking about you are going to have authentic visions for your life. You're going to see yourself in areas that you can only see yourself in because you have an authentic purpose that was given specifically for you. And when you can have a dream that is your dream, a vision that is your vision, nothing's going to stop you. It's not going to be somebody's dream or vision that you heard from stage one day. And because they're doing real estate and they're successful in real estate, now you're going to do real estate and dabble in that. Or if somebody's a best-selling author from stage, you want to now go become a best-selling author because she or he did it, right? That happens so much. But now when you finally get to the point where you found your dream, you have your vision, this is the second part of seeing if your vision, if your dream, if you are really the right person for that. And that's when you're going to go through the struggle. Okay? Now the struggle is, in my personal opinion, that I call the spiritual struggle. This is where I go and I get my pastor. We pray, and we pray through this whole process. Don't get me wrong. But when you get through the struggle, my God, this is where that voice in your head becomes amplified and tells you, you can't do what you're about to do. You bit off more than you can chew, Missy. Kimberly, you are not the woman for this job. Who are you to think you can do this? Jennifer, not you, lady. You are horrible. You can't do this. And you start to hear voices that bring in this videotape or this projector that basically illustrates everything that you weren't, everything that you failed in, every single word that you didn't commit to. Oh my God, it's crazy. It's like drive-bys of you're not this, you're not that. That's the struggle portion that you need to get down. And that's where mentors really come in. That's where you're going to have to be completely transparent. That's when you're going to have to pray to whatever you pray to. That's when you're going to have to really dig deep. Because once you get through the struggle, everybody, you get to the victory. And when you can become victorious in what it is that you're doing, that's when I really truly feel that life begins to become truly abundant. That's when you're going to start to really hit the bigger stages. That's when you're going to start to impact the world. And if you can get past that process, I truly believe that you'll be unstoppable. And those are the 6 steps that I go through with all of my clients to help them get from where they are to where they want to be. And at the end of the day, everything starts and ends with how you view yourself and how you view the world. And for the most part, most of the time, we have to change people's blueprints, because your blueprint wasn't given to you your blueprint that most people live by isn't the blueprint that was originally given to you. It's been masked and it's been swiped, and you've been given a blueprint that wasn't designed specifically for you, if that makes sense. So, I really love doing that. I love helping people find their original blueprint to life so they can live a life to the fullest that was designed specifically for you, because I truly believe that none of us are here by chance. Make sense?
Makes sense to me. I'm just looking at all the heads nodding up and down, saying, yeah, they get it. And I know a
Awesome.
lot of them are excited about that information. I hope you guys wrote that down. If not, you can watch the replay.
Yeah. And when you find it, the weirdest part is that you won't be able to sleep at night. That's when you know you found it. Like, you get up, you're like, I can't wait to get up. I can't wait to work on this. I can't even sleep at night. You're going to be like Speedy Gonzalez on crack, like I am right now. Literally, ladies. Okay, this is the other thing. I'm going to also use a biblical principle that I used at Secret Knock. You guys ever heard of Paul and Timothy? Right? So I'm not going to go into his life, but every single leader, ladies and gentlemen, you should have Timothys in your life. That's when you really, really can see if a leader duplicates. And that's what I love about network marketing, because you have to duplicate your process. You got to create leaders. You got to create groups. You got to create teams. You got to help other people succeed. And if you don't, you're never going to be successful. But every single leader, no matter what happens, you got to figure out how you can become somebody that people become attracted to. If you can just be one chapter ahead of the people that you're leading, you're going to be attractive to them. People have got to see something inside of you that they want. And then once they see that, they have to trust you, and they have to obviously like you, but they have to trust you, and they have to believe that you can lead them to the promised land. And if they can believe that you can lead them, you're going to have Timothy's all behind you, following you. And then it's going to be our responsibility to lead them to the promised land. And it's beautiful, because when you look at Paul, although there was nothing perfect about his life, he always had a thorn in the side of his flesh. Now, it's a metaphorical one. But every single time that he went through something, he said, please take this away from me. And the response that he always got was, nope. Because you always got to remember who you came from, who you are, and what got you to where you're at. And that's always going to keep you in place. And this is why I always tell people, embrace the struggle. Never forget where you came from. Remain humble, have humility, but have enough courage to lead people and take them from where they are to where you want to be. But in order to do that, you got to become an attractive person. And you become attractive when you really find out what your purpose is, and you ignite your life and the things that you do every single day to get you where you are to where you want to be. That makes sense?
Totally. And that was, oh wow, nuggets of it. I hope you guys are. I mean, I'm looking at your guys' faces, just at your reactions. I see people smiling with big grins on their face because they see they got the nuggets of information, and people are popping into the chat right now.
And please feel free to ask questions there. For the time we have, I'll try to answer maybe 1 or 2 questions. But go ahead and engage. I want to make sure you guys are getting something, ladies and gentlemen. And if you are, type a question, and I'd be happy to answer those questions.
Anybody got any questions? I mean, actually, we got a small group, so we can actually unmute yourself and ask, except for Lisa.
I knew you would. Zip it.
Well, who's Lisa? What's up with Lisa?
Lisa always has a question.
Always has a question because I'm the one that's chatty Cathy on here. That's why I'm telling him to zip it the other night.
I love it. So does anybody have a question?
I resonated with every single thing you said. Everything. Passion's my favorite thing in life. Y'all need to talk. I'm gonna be quiet now.
I love it, Lisa. You got to get it going. You're like the person that gets in front of the car and winds it up and jumps in to get it going. So wind it up, Lisa. Come on.
And then jumps out. No, I'm just kidding. No, I mean, Angel, you brought up some amazing information, and that's why this group was created. This group was created, the Warrior Training, because I'm very, very passionate about helping people be leaders, helping people get the nuggets of information to be around people like yourself and myself. I mean, a lot of these people don't get to go to events on a weekly basis like we do. And so I was like, how can I get more leaders? How can I get more trainers? How can I get more individuals that want to step up as a leader to be in front of these people? And so this group is my passion. And as a lot of them know, I'm very passionate about it. I get very excited. If I don't have a speaker, guess who's talking? Right here, baby. But I'm very passionate, and it's really, and that's why I want to talk with you next week in your office, is because it's really turning into what I'm very passionate about, and I really want this to go bigger. I want this to really be my platform where I am helping people be leaders, not only in their personal life, but in their business and in their communities. That, I have that trifecta, and like you said, when you're passionate, you're excited. You wake up, that's what you think about. When you're out dinner with your family, that's what you're thinking about. Your brain does not shut off. And I know there's people here that have the same passion. Like I can give an example, like Joni is very passionate about health and fitness. She will work you to death to show you how important it is to do your workouts, to eat properly, and to be healthy. Because if you don't have your health, you have nothing. And being a mixed martial artist like myself and like you, Angel, working out, doing exercise is very important to us. It's crucial. So thank you for sharing those, 6 nuggets of information. I know these guys are excited. A couple people said they're already looking forward to watching the replay and going over the information. Is there anybody else that wants to talk besides me and Lisa? Because I'm like Oprah. I'm the white Oprah over here,
So check this out. I'm going to say this as well. And I'm going to say this really nice. You can tell the health of a tree by the fruit it produces, right?
Amen.
So that's huge. So when somebody tells me, I read Think and Grow Rich, or I've done this, I've been that, but then they're still struggling, there's a component missing. Because there's enough abundance in this world where every single person can become successful at what it is that they do. I truly believe that. There's no doubt in my mind that everybody can become successful. Now, what does success mean? That's completely up to you. You can write what success means to you, because for the most part, a lot of people don't consider being successful by the amount of money that's in their bank account. Some people say, I'm successful in relationships. Some people can say, I'm successful because I'm an amazing teacher at school and I help kids. I'm successful because I'm doing what I'm passionate about. And that could be a zookeeper at the zoo taking care of the pigs. And they're completely happy because that's what they do. I love seeing that, right? They may not be a millionaire, but they're passionate about what they're doing, right? Today, my son gave me a spiel about the rainforest and about how we have to recycle. First thing that my mind thought about in the back of my head was, what are we going to do about recycling, really? No, you know what? That's his way of doing his small little part to add, to save the ecosystem. And I'm like, let's do that. Let's go get a blue bin and let's do our part. Will we make a dent in the world, in the ecosystem? Yeah, we are. 0.00001%, we are. We're making a difference. But we sometimes think because we're not on CNN talking about it, and we're not in the White House, and we're not having this huge effect by being on Facebook Live with 1,000 people watching us, that we don't feel significant enough to do something of impact. And I think that's the biggest lie we could ever think of. If you can help one single person, or if you can do your part to do something fantastic, do it. Everything smart starts with something small. And if you don't embrace the small things in life, you're never going to get to the bigger things in life. So being on a call with one person or two people is better than zero. So you always got to embrace the small victories in life. And if you're not able to embrace the small little victories that you have, then it's going to be very difficult for you to become a leader of many if you can't even lead ourselves, right? We have to lead ourselves before we're going to give permission to lead other people. So as you ladies are here and gentlemen are here right now, are there any guys in the, yeah, Stephen, be transparent. That's the first part of having breakthrough, is not giving a shit of what people think about you, not caring what people think, what they're going to think, how they're going to feel, because it's your turn to get your breakthrough so that you can stop living in mediocrity and start living the life that you were designed to live. And you're never going to be able to do that if you're too concerned about what other people think. So I want to at least hear, before I leave today, I know I've given a lot, but I want to hear 3 challenges that anybody has on this call. I want to know what your challenges are right now, and I want to try to at least help 1 or 2 of you specifically, and I guarantee you that it'll help everybody on this call. It's about breakthrough, and it's about going into massive action to not digress back to where you were at. Forward momentum. So who has a challenge right now before we get off this call? I have a challenge. Come on now. I know we have challenges. Let them out.
People out if they don't open their mouths.
I have a challenge.
Awesome, Kimberly. Let me have it.
Okay, so I'm from a small little town, and I was just recently promoted to a really nice job here in my town. A lot of people would love to have that. However, I know that I feel that I am to do something else, something bigger, and which is one of the reasons why I'm on this call. So, but I don't know, I don't know what it is. That's just it. I feel it, but I don't know what it is. So this is, so just connecting with people like Kent and all these people on this group, and just trying to, to grow and just put myself out there. I feel like I'm getting, more and more nuggets from all this stuff, and I'm trying to piece all these puzzles together to figure out what it is I'm supposed to do.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm kind of new to all this.
No problem.
I know that the job that I have isn't what I am meant to do. I can feel that.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So Kimberly, are you on the witness protection program for some reason?
No.
Okay, cool. So what little town are you from?
I'm from Menlo, Washington. Tiny little farming town.
And did you grow up there?
I did.
You grew up there, so you've been there your whole life?
I was here, grew up here, graduated from here. I left, went to college. And then when I got married and started to have a family, I actually moved back to this town because this is where my roots are, my family, my parents are here. So I've been here since then. Yeah. Okay.
And then what did you go to college for?
Actually to be a travel agent.
Okay. And how often do you travel?
Yeah, back in the day, we wrote airline tickets. Yeah. I'm dating myself here.
No, it's all good. Now, yeah. Why did you get into travel?
Because I wanted to explore. I wanted to see what was out there. I love just meeting new people and just kind of seeing the world. We're kind of, this little area here, it's kind of a small, tight-knit little community. and a lot of people never leave, you know, so I always felt like when I was growing up that I just kind of wanted to bust out of this place and, you know, go see the world. So what better way to do it than be a travel agent?
All right. So how often do you travel now?
I try to go a couple times a year. I travel quite a bit with my husband and my son. He races. So we're gone every weekend in a motorhome, not to just various other states and stuff. But as far as like traveling, maybe once a year, my husband and I get away on a trip, but not as much.
How old are your kids?
24, 21, and 13.
Okay. Now I'm going to assume, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. And this is for everybody. When you went to your college to become a travel agent and do all that stuff, I'm going to venture to say that your thought or your dream of traveling wasn't in a camper to go to races.
Right. No, it was to jet off to faraway exotic places.
You want to go to Fiji, to like Europe. You want to go see Paris. I mean, you want to go see the 7 wonders of the world.
Yes, that was what I wanted to do.
And have you done that?
No.
Why haven't you done that?
I've went to some pretty neat places, but my bucket list is really long still.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So why haven't you done any of that stuff yet?
You know, life kind of got in the way. I think that's kind of what, you know, when I got married and had my first son, he was actually born disabled. So that kind of, you know, that meant I had to switch careers, had to get a different job to be able to pay for, you know, that kind of stuff. So, just went down a different path.
Okay, so circumstances, obviously being a mom, being a responsible mom, right? Being a responsible wife, you've taken on a lot of different roles that you had to do to be responsible, and you sort of veered away from what you wanted to do for yourself, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you probably also wanted to take care of your parents and be back home.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Very family.
I get it. And that's a beautiful, admirable thing that you've done. However, what you've done is you wanted to leave and then you got pulled back.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're in a place where you love it. It's great. And I'm sure there's some things that you would love to change, but now you're sort of stuck in this suction of I'm here, I'm mom, I really can't do nothing. And you've accepted, okay, the vacationing that I'm going to do now is maybe once a year with my husband if we get away, but I've settled for the motorhome and going to things that they like to do, but you forgot about yourself.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So I would say the very first thing that you need to do to open yourself up to the possibilities of the things that you sort of forgot about due to life and responsibilities is you need to reward yourself with a vacation just for you.
Ooh, never done that.
And you need to leave.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm not saying that it has to be a huge 30 days away, but you need to sit down with the family. I'm telling you, seriously, this is going to ignite you, Kimberly. You have done everything for everybody and you forgot about yourself. Now, I can't sit here and tell you what your passion is in a quick Zoom call. But what I can say right now, based on your energy and the way you're looking and the way you're talking about what you love to do, you need to sit down with everybody and you need to let them know, hey, in 3 months from now, and I want to give you a time frame to do this in, mommy is going to go on a small vacation.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes. And I want you to pick some place that is the most, what would be one place that you would love to go to? If you could snap your finger right now and be there right now, what would it be?
Oh my gosh.
Come on, give me one.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, I'll tell you, I want to go.
I know, we'll go back to Fiji. I'm going to go sit in a hut out on the water and have them bring my food to me, you know, and
Ooh, I love it.
Block away the world. Just block
Okay.
it.
So Kimberly, this is what I want you to do. Tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to go on the internet and I want you to print out a place in Fiji that you want to stay at.
And
I want you to write down every single thing that you want to experience while you're there.
Okay.
And then what I want you to do is I want you to put an action plan together to get yourself there ASAP. No, you cannot give yourself any excuses because they're going to come.
They will.
You are going to have so many excuses that are going to stop you, and they're going to be valid. They're going to be very valid. You're going to be able to look back and say, oh my God, I can't go because of this. I can't go because of that. And they're going to seem very valid, but they're always going to be there, and nobody's going to die if you leave for 4 days.
True.
Nobody's not. And everybody should support you in doing this. I want you to print it out. I want you to put down everything that you want to do while you're there. And I want you to feel it. I want you to taste it. I want you to close your mind. And I want nothing else but your mind to focus on what it would feel like and what it would do for you to finally do something for you. And then while you're there, your sole purpose is just to be with you. That's it.
Yeah.
And I promise you, Kimberly, when you're there by yourself and everything's taken care of at home, your husband's on board, your kids are on board, your family's on board, you are going to find out what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing.
Wow. Okay.
But you need to get away.
That is true. I do. Yeah.
You deserve it.
Absolutely.
Do you believe you deserve it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I just went on a little mini trip here with a lot of people in this group, actually, for the first time. Just hopped on a plane in the middle of Hurricane Maria. Is that what the hurricane was, guys? Maria? We flew to Florida. We did this big event, Joni and I. Humongous self-growth, I know, for her and me. We totally, we were blown away. It changed our lives. That whole event just changed us. And so, yeah, absolutely. I want to do more of that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But what I want you to do, Kimberly, and what I recommend, I'll put it that way. What I recommend that you do is you don't go to any events. You got to be present with you by yourself.
Absolutely.
And you got to say, I deserve to be in a beautiful place to go get recharged and get reacquainted with who you are and what you want to do. And then when you come back, and this is for everybody here, listen up. If you do not have standards set for yourself and your life, you are never going to change it. Nothing will ever change in your life if you don't have standards that you live by. And those standards aren't selfish standards, but they're standards that you have to live by and live every single day. Have boundaries with people, but you have to take care of you. And you got to be happy for you, and you got to do stuff for yourself. So Kimberly, that's your homework. Get me on Facebook. Send me a message, but I want to see those Fiji pictures. I want you to tell me exactly what you're going to experience in Fiji. And then what I want you to do is I want you to give me a time frame on when you're going to be there. And in 3 months or in 6 months, no longer than 6 months.
Okay.
No longer than 6 months.
My husband's going to kill me if I go to Fiji without him.
He's gonna be fine. You know what you're gonna do? You're gonna say, you're gonna tell him, I'm gonna go scout Fiji for us.
Oh, there you go.
That's it. I gotta go scout because I heard that there's some really bad people over there. So I gotta go make sure it's all clear for us to go over there.
Oh, okay.
Right? No, but seriously, I know it's funny, right? But seriously, Kimberly, and in before 6 months, you're gonna come back on this Zoom call with everybody, and you're gonna share your amazing experience. And you're going to come back refreshed, and you're going to have a purpose-driven life. And it may even require you and everybody else getting out of that town and moving someplace else.
Okay.
Who knows? But that's your goal. Everybody thumbs up her. Everybody thumbs up.
Thanks, guys.
Now, Kimberly, do you accept that you're going to do that?
Kimberly, you deserve it.
Thanks, Christy.
Yeah.
Do you accept it, Kimberly?
I do.
Awesome. So we're going to see that in 6 months, you're going to be someplace amazing, and you're going to come back refreshed.
Okay, I will.
And then we're going to talk about how to bring your purpose to life.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Cool.
Okay.
Let me get one more before we leave. Is that cool? Is one more good, Kent? Or are we done?
Sorry I hogged it all, you guys.
No, you're good. Yeah, if you want to do one more, go ahead and do one more.
Oh, look at Jennifer. Jennifer's like, yeah, I want to do it. All right, come on.
Yeah.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
you're waving.
I have a pain problem. I know what my purpose is. And I just recently found out that I never thought that I looked or thought about what other people thought about me. I thought that I was pretty, confident in the fact that, okay, I didn't care what people thought about me. Well, just recently, going through some spiritual exercises, found out that, I did. I actually was holding myself back from doing the things that I could do because I was worried that somebody would think that I was an overachiever or trying to be a goody two shoes or like just doing better than what they were doing. So I didn't want anyone to think that I was better than them. So I was holding my own self back. So I guess my thing would be, how do I get over that and just go forward with what I have to do, you know, finding that strength to do it.
Yeah. Where do you live?
And Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
How big is your town?
Pretty
your
big.
city?
Yeah, pretty big.
So it's not as small as Kimberly.
No, it's the capital of Louisiana. Yeah.
All right, you're in the capital. Okay, cool. So I guess the first thing that I would say is that you have to disassociate yourself from what you think you should be doing, right? Because we get so accustomed to being comfortable with everything that we've done, and we've developed a lot of rich relationships with people, right? And we care what people think, and we want to bring them with us, but they're not prepared to come with us, nor would they probably want to come with us, right? Because everybody has their own life. They can make choices on what they want to do. But what we need to do is we need to change our blueprint on how we see other people are going to view us, right? You're telling yourself that if I do A, B, and C, I'm going to leave people behind. And if I leave them behind, they're going to think that I'm too good for them. So you're telling yourself a story that hasn't even manifested yet. You're believing a story that you're telling yourself, and you're answering for people that haven't even answered for themselves. What if every single person applauded you? What if most people in your life that are the closest to you actually say, go get them, Jennifer? Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. Oh my God. And it's the complete opposite. You're never going to know what's going to happen unless you actually do it. And this is the kicker, everybody. Your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. So if you start thinking something and it's like a story-based thought, which most of our thoughts come from, your mind is going to start to tell you answers to agree with whatever it is that you're thinking. And it doesn't have to even be true, because it doesn't matter if it's true or not, because it's what you're thinking. So if you're thinking, Jennifer, that everybody's going to judge you, your mind and your body is never going to align with each other and propel you to move forward, because it's already submitted to the thought of, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So you have to divorce that story that is not serving you. And if the story unfolds that people are not going to support you, then they weren't your friends to begin with. I told my son today, my son got into, he's been I homeschooled him for a long time. And now we put him into a charter school because he was in a Christian-based homeschool. It was awesome. About 10 kids. We were paying about $700 a month for him to go to this homeschool. And it was awesome. And I really, really loved that he was there. But I thought to myself, he's being sort of cocooned. I need to allow him to experience life, different cultures, different thought processes. So did he. It was a shell shock for him. Oh my God. He met kids that are in the 3rd grade that are already talking about being atheists. He met kids in the 3rd grade that have abandonment issues with their dads, with their moms, that are already talking about hate. And it was like, oh my God, what's going on in this world? But he was exposed to that. And I had to have a conversation with him. And I told him, and I told my daughter too, she's 5. I said, Amaya and Isaiah, I want you guys to know that in this house, you guys are loved, you guys are cared for, and you can never do anything that will ever make mommy and daddy stop loving you or liking you. But the minute you go through that door, nobody gives a shit about you. That's what I told them straight up. I said, there will be a few, but for the most part, that world is hard, it's tough. And you got to be able to stand on your own no matter what kids tell you, no matter how they ridicule you. You got to make sure and know that you love yourself because you love you no matter what, and because mommy and daddy love you, and because you guys love each other. We are one. And you will find people out there that will support you guys. But for the most part, You will find people that will not like you, that won't agree with you. And that is okay. You love everybody. Do not let it affect what you're supposed to do in life, and don't let it affect what you believe in and what you stand for. And after I had that conversation with them, obviously it was a big conversation to have with the kids. But when I saw what they were getting exposed to at school, I'm like, oh my God, if I don't take control of the situation at home, I am not preparing my kids for the war that is waiting for them out there. So as adults, as we get older, we bring that baggage with us if we don't learn how to let it go and shed it. So for you, Jennifer, you need to just go and kick ass and let the story unfold as it may. But you know what? This is your story right now. It's blank. That's your story right now. You have the ability and the skill set to start writing the chapters of your life. And whatever comes at you, it's your decision whether or not you're going to include it in the book that you're writing for yourself. It's going to happen. You're going to have people that are not going to support you, but so what? You can't take everybody with you, and you can't save everybody. So you may as well live your life to the fullest and do what you've been called to do, and don't worry about what people are going to think. Because if you do, you're going to stay stuck, and staying stuck sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, big time. And that's one of my biggest fears, is not growing and not doing what I'm here to do, because I know in my heart already what I'm here to do. And that was my biggest thing. And that's what I need to do. Just not give a rat's behind about what people think, and just get out there and do it.
Absolutely. And you got to have that self-talk, Jennifer. I don't care what you have to say to yourself. Say, I don't give a rat's ass what anybody thinks. Tell yourself that. Self-talk, self-talk, self-talk. We all have enough negative thoughts that go into our mind. We have to combat it with verbal, positive affirmations. This is why it's so important to say stuff to yourself, to have affirmations, to have declarations, and to speak to yourself, and to knock those negative thoughts out of your mind and say, I don't give a rat's ass. I say whatever. Words are just words. People get so offended, but you know what? They're just words. They don't mean nothing. But say whatever you got to say, and then you determine what those words mean. And that's it. And this is a quote that I got. Check this out. This is an amazing quote. And I got this from Secret Knock, from a guy that I was speaking to. He says, we often suffer more in imagination than we do in reality.
Absolutely.
And that's what happens to most people. We suffer in here, and it hasn't even happened. And it disables us from going out and actually doing what we've been called to do. So stop suffering in here and stop kicking ass in real life. Start making your reality, because we all have the power to do that.
Thank you. That's awesome.
I have a question. Of course. Sorry, y'all. I just thought of something. So a nugget about managing your time. Because of this group, I'm able to build myself up, and it's helped me with personal problems with family, and I've just taken a stand against certain things. So now my own business is starting I have a passion with a company with some of the girls on here, but my own business is starting to flourish now. How do you manage the passion that you have with one? Well, I'm passionate about both of my jobs, but how do you manage the time frame, and especially you with kids and busy family and all? Where do you stop and say, I've got to take the time to do this thing that I'm really, really passionate about, make the time to do it? Because at the end of the day, I'm like, poop.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Y'all, okay, this is for everybody. You cannot manage time. Get that out of your head. Time is going to go regardless whether you wake up, whether you do anything. You cannot stop time. So don't worry about managing time. Get that out of there. Biggest thing is you have to use time as your ally. So what I would ask you right now is, Lisa, let me see your schedule for today. What did you have planned out for your day today? Did you have, from the time that you wake up, from the time that you go to bed, do you have your life planned out?
Mm-mm. Never.
Okay. So if you do not intentionally write
Except for
down,
my customers. I mean, my customers, I know. I mean, I have them on a calendar. I
yeah,
definitely have them on a calendar. But if I have like a bid that comes in from left field and it's a $600 bid, and then all of a sudden I'm in it,
yeah,
then I always incorporate that.
yeah, that's okay. But I'm talking, okay, let me give you an example. I don't have it with me. I have a journal. When I wake up in the morning, 6 a.m., straight, I put my feet on the ground, I say a prayer, boom, I get right into the shower. After my shower, I get out of the shower, get the kids' clothes ready, wake up my wife, wake up the kids. Second thing that I do, go downstairs, make breakfast. That's by 6:45, 7 o'clock, everything's done. Breakfast is done. Kids are up out of bed. I have everything segmented. 8:30, my kids at school, I drop them off. On Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I drop my kid off at school, my son. Tuesdays and Thursdays, my wife drops him off at school. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm here at 7 a.m. in my office, and I have specific duties that I do. 7 a.m., I do this. 8 a.m., I do this. 9 a.m., I do this. 10 to 11 a.m., I do this. Every single hour of my day is strategically planned. Now, I know things can come in from left field and right field to take you off. I get that. But this is a huge part of becoming successful, is you do not let life you. The minute you allow life to determine what it is that you do, it will never stop. You have to set standards for your schedule, and you have to stick to them. And once you stick to them and create that habit, people, life, and circumstances will submit to your schedule, because now you are going to be the captain of your life every single day. My downline in my company know that after 7:30 p.m., I am unreachable. Do not call me. I don't care if they have a new prospect. I don't care. Nope. That's the time that I have with my kids. Uncompromisable. There is nobody big enough that's going to take that away from me. And if they want to work that bad with me, they're going to contact me when I'm available. And I truly believe that. And if you don't have those standards set for your life, life will life you. You're going to feel out of control, and you're going to feel like you have no boundaries, and things are going to come to you, and you're going to be going crazy in every which way, shape, or form. And then people will start doing it to you. And that's the worst, because people can be the worst energy suckers, right? So my thing to you, and I learned this from Darren Hardy, he is a militant at how and who comes into his life and what he does. He calls them jam sessions. So there's even a time where I'll sit down and I'll say, for the next hour and a half, I turn off my phone, I turn off my email, I turn off everything, and I deal with my top priority for an hour and a half for the day. And I will not stop until that's done. And I always do the hardest thing first. But you need to write out your schedule every single hour and minute of the day. And let me tell you, you will not stick to it for a while. It'll be difficult. It'll be hard. But if you keep on restarting and keep on sticking to it and keep on sticking to it, you're going to master it. And when you can master being the captain of what happens in your life, everything will submit to it. I don't know why or how, but it happens.
With work, with my day job, it does. It's just the extra one that things always happen. And I always make myself available for other people. Not always.
Yeah, I get it. And you know why it's so easy to do it at a job? Because a job gives us a specific time to be there, a specific time to leave, and specific duties to do. You got to go on lunch, go on lunch. Come back from lunch, get back to work, get back to your desk. You're strategic, well, for the most part, right? Some people mess up and don't even do anything when they're working. But if you're a diligent employee, you have a time to be there and a time to get off and things to do in between. It's structured. But the minute we get out of our life, we're like, oh, I'm free. No structure. And we get nothing done. We got to be structured. And it's harder as entrepreneurs because we have nobody looking over our shoulder. We have nobody telling us where to be, how to be, and when to be. We got to do that for ourselves, and that's the hard part. And that's why most people do not become successful. And then once you get that structure down, this is the beautiful part. Then you can have other people that are going to come in And that's when you become the Moses in a sense, right? Moses drove himself crazy. Jethro had to come in and tell him, dude, you got to delegate. And he created the 12 tribes of Israel, right? To me, that's network marketing in a nutshell in the Bible. Oh my God, you get that down? You're an instant diamond, black diamond, triple blue diamond, emerald, whatever the hell color or stone that you can be in your company. You will be there when you master your top priorities, your schedule, and then you're able to delegate when the time comes, and then you duplicate that. But you can't duplicate, ladies and gentlemen, what you're not doing. And the hardest part, and I'll leave you with this, negative actions duplicate faster than positive ones.
In every
much
bedroom
faster.
of the house.
Oh my God. People will do, I mean, I can sit down with somebody and teach them our compensation plan, right? And then they'll hear it and they'll look at me, I got it. Every single time they only got 10% of it, right? So you got to go back and duplicate until they get it. So it's the same thing with us. We got to have patience with ourselves, and then we got to have patience with the people that we're training. And then before you know it, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, wow, I got 4, 5, 6, however many leaders that you need in your team to become financially free. But every single person that I've been in network marketing, and I coach a lot of people in network marketing outside of my company. I have Beachbody clients in Shakeology. I have some in I'm not going to say it's called, what is it called? It was called Vima, but they went under and then they got bought out by. Point is, I have a lot of people in other companies, and one of the things that they fail to do is plan. They don't have a schedule. They don't have structure. So have that, and I'm telling you, your life will change.
Thank you.
Boom.
Was that okay?
I don't know. Let me Let me change my screen because I see you talking. All right.
Amazing.
Oh, there's the beautiful. All right. Have you liked? All right. What can we? All right. Thumbs, finger. Yeah, do the finger wave for him so he can see that. There you go. You see that, Angel?
Yes, I see that.
So, thank you so much for dropping in and sharing not only the 6 nuggets, but also helping specific people here with their breakthroughs. Now, guys and gals, when somebody offers you something, you need to jump on it, because look at the breakthroughs that each one of them had tonight. This is why I always say, if somebody asks, you just jump. You don't just say, well, how much does it cost or blah, jump, because the biggest and best things will happen when you just react. All right. And like I've trained you guys and spoken to you guys about, it's all about taking action. All right. So I'm excited that you guys are on here. Thank you, Angel, for sharing your information. I know you actually canceled an appointment to be here, which shows that he's got everything scheduled out. He actually canceled an appointment so he could be here for you guys to share this information, and I'm super stoked about that. Any last words that you want to share, Angel, or do you want to drop? Do you want them to get your how to break through fear?
Yeah, I said you can either do just go to inspiretowin.com. I put the link on there, and you can download the free ebook. It's there. You'll see it on the first page. You get the free ebook, and then I have some other stuff I'll give to you guys. Or you can also text No Limits. I think it's No Limits 1, not No Limits. No Limits 1 to 3. Don't even worry about doing that. Just go to my website. It's so much easier. Inspiretowin.com. Download the free ebook there. You'll be included in my newsletter, and then find me on Facebook. I think
You're in the group
because I reached the limit, but I deleted a few people before this call so I can get you in there, and I'll friend request you and accept it. Let's stay connected. Let me know what you got. I would love to hear messages from y'all to tell me what you got out of it. And if I can, I'll continue to, help you here and there. And then get me on Instagram. So that's @Angel L. Rivera on Instagram, because I'm going to be doing a lot of cool things on Instagram here pretty soon.
And guys, it's No Limits 1 because it worked.
Yep. So, hey guys, he is in our warrior training group. He is there. So, feel free in the group to share what you liked about this, ask questions. The speakers that we're bringing to this platform, every Zoom call we do is in the group. You have access to reach them. You have access to ask them questions. All right, guys? So, you're part of this group. You have access to these speakers. If that's not a telltale sign, hello, light bulb. I've given you access to these speakers.
Yes. And
Ding,
the
ding,
last thing
ding.
I'll say is just do. Go
Do.
into massive action. Imperfect action is better than no action at all.
Exactly.
Fail your way to success. At least you're doing something.
Like John Maxwell says, if you're gonna fall forward. At least you're making progress.
Amen to that.
Awesome. Well, then I know you want to get home and see your
I have
munchkins and
another
stuff.
Zoom call right now at 8 o'clock, but
Look at that. Perfect timing. So, hey guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Angel, for being our guest tonight. Show your love, guys, to Angel. Put any comments or love in the Warrior Training group so he knows. And please bring your friends, bring people that you know that need to get these breakthroughs, to get this type of training to the calls every week. And it's all about leadership. It's all about helping people be stronger and better leaders. Love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing evening. What's that, Lisa?
Thanks, Angel. Thanks, Kent, for letting me open my mouth again.
There you
you're
go.
awesome, Lisa. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody, and I look forward to hearing about what y'all do.
Sounds awesome. And like I like to leave you guys, keep smiling because you never know whose world you're going to change. Go out there and be that ripple effect, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night, Jackie.
Bye.